Okay, how do I do this? Alrighty then. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I'm gonna hit play on my own stream here. Let's see. If you can hear me, let me know in the chat room, please. The giantbomb.com/chat. Okay, good. Let me try to get the audio balance down here real quick before we get started. I'm gonna hit some audio from the game. Just let me know if my talking over this is acceptable or if it sounds really gross. Everybody says I'm really quiet, but I don't really know how to make my own mic any louder. It's at the max. Let me try using the mic aux boost in OBS. See if this works a little better for you guys. Let me know in the chat if this sounds a little better, but I tried upping the mic boost. Let me try to actually put the mic closer to my mouth too. Okay. Let me know if this works. I'm talking over the sound of my monk doing weird shit. Let me try turning up a little bit more. How about that? I can try. Okay. What time is it? 12:50. So I'm gonna give it about 10 minutes. I'm gonna start tweeting in a bit to let people know I'm doing this, and I'm gonna get some water real quick, which I definitely need. Ah, water. Very good. Alright, so let me make some promos for this and tweet about it and use the restroom, and we'll get started with, I think we're going to start with Battle for Mount Hyjal. We're on the second half of the Burning Crusade raid tier. There are 3 that we're going to try and get through today, and they're all hopefully not going to be a problem. Alright, we got about 10 minutes before I really start. Let me tweet and get some stuff done, and we'll be back in a bit. And I'll be in chat for the whole time. Okay, we have about 5 minutes to go, so I'm going to run around. I'm right here near the entrance to Battle for Mount Hyjal, so I'm going to stay here for a bit. We're going to give it about 5 more minutes before. Oh man, my throat is not great today. I'm drank too much last night, I believe. But anyways, we're gonna go to Battle for Mount Hyjal, and we're gonna get all these bosses down, and we're gonna hopefully get all 3 raids. This Black Temple and Sunwell all in the next few hours, hopefully. I'm gonna try and take my time, and hopefully most of you have seen this before, what I do. But we're gonna try and go through all the bosses and let you know about what the challenges were at the time people actually doing these raids. Obviously, it's a little difficult to do these as a level 100, but we're difficult to make them look challenging, should I say. But we'll try our best. Excuse me, burps. Alrighty then. Can you hear me? Okay, I'm going to give this about 4 more minutes, and we'll start up with Battle for Mount Hyjal. I want to start at 1 o'clock, as I promised on the upcoming thingamabob. All right, let's get going. So Darth Infamous wants to know if I haven't played WoW since Kata, can you solo those previous expansion raids now? Um, Kata, you can totally do 25 man. Probably not heroic because a lot of the heroic bosses in those some of the 25 man Cataclysm raids will have either like perma stun stuff that you can't get out of, or there's one in the Deathring raid that you really have to DPS down really super quick, and I personally can't do it as a tank. Um, but you can definitely do 25 man non heroic stuff solo now, which we'll get into in a bit. I'm going to get through. This is the Burning Crusade. Next up is Wrath of the Lich King, which I can do mostly 25 man heroics. And then after that, I think is. God, is that Kata after that? Man, all goes so quick. Um, but, anyways, we're in the Burning Crusade. We have 3 raids that we're going to do today. This is the Battle for Mount Hyjal, which you may remember, even if you haven't played World of Warcraft, you might remember this as the end of Warcraft 3? Was it the end of Warcraft 3? I want to say it was. I remember there's a bunch of Lich King stuff in Warcraft 3, but also the end of Warcraft 3 was a big fight against Archimonde. That's the guy's name. We'll see him in a bit. Anyway, here we are. So this is the Battle for Mount Hyjal. It's a fairly long raid because you have a bunch of stuff you can't skip. There's a bunch of waves of enemies that come in. Right over here is where they're going to be coming in, and you have to fight a boss after 8 waves of enemies, but you can't really speed that up, unfortunately, so you have to kind of get them all done. But yeah, so you have to start this by talking to Lady Jaina and Lady Pradmore. A weird character in WoW. Always supposed to be super, super powerful, but kind of hangs by the side of all the other orcs and humans who were doing a bunch of stuff. She has never really wielded her power in an obvious way. But anyways, she's gonna hang back over here and let you fight all the enemies that are coming through the gate here, which is fine by me because I'm gonna do that pretty quickly. So if you have any questions about anything, not just WoW, anything at all, feel free to put them in the Giant Bomb chat. I'm there right now, and we will try to take them as they come. So again, you have 8 waves of enemies here. If I wasn't so powerful, these guys would probably come up. These Stormwind soldiers would probably come up help me, but as it is, I have my totem, which taunts everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and kind of just kill everything because there's no real point to dragging it out any longer than it has to be. This part goes faster if you stand up where they spawn. That might be true. Let's see. I don't actually know where they spawn. I haven't done this one in a while. Or I haven't actually tried to stand where they spawn, but at any rate, 8 waves of enemies coming up here, and then a boss, and then another 8 waves, and then a boss. We will try to get through it as quickly as possible. I guess that's right, man. These guys really do spawn way back here. Alright, let me open up my document real quick about these bosses because I'm going to kill them immediately if I am actually going to attack them. But I'm going to try and figure out how to show off how they are a little bit. I'm not speaking very well. I'm going to try and show off some of the tactics they had back in the day, which is going to be a little difficult because I crit a lot as a monk. And if I do any damage at all, they will probably just kind of keel over and die. This is Rage Winter Chill. He is a obviously a lich. I'm gonna try and get back to the. As Ice Bolt, it will stun people for about 3 or 4 seconds. You can shield or heal out of it. Pop a trinket. It does a lot of damage too. Obviously, I'm pretty high health at this point, so it's not really going to show at this point. But at the time, apparently, that was a. Where did he go? Oh, he's attacking my. He's attacking my totem. Oops. Where am I? So he also does Death and Decay, which is a big AoE that would definitely kill a lot of people back in the day. You have to get out of that as soon as possible. Um, Obviously, as a 30 level higher than the encounter, I am not too worried about being Death and Decayed, but if you were a raid doing this at the time, you would have to get out of that as soon as possible, or you would die. I'm still frozen. Oh my gosh. Man. Okay. I'm stunned and in Death and Decay, which I assume would be a very bad thing to have happen if you're actually level 70. But at any rate, this is the first boss, and we are going to take him out pretty quickly, I think. First boss is down. That was not very complicated at all, but we have 8 more waves to come before the second boss, and then we'll move on to the second village coming up here. Is damage in WoW dependent on character level or weapons? Is a question from the chat. It really is mostly dependent on level. I think if I took off all my gear, I would still do a very large amount of damage compared to this raid. I wouldn't go down to 0 or anything like that. Let's see. So my damage right here, 7146. If I take off my weapon, I actually, wow, about cut in half, which is more than I thought it would be, but it's still mostly dependent on your character level and items. Kind of a mixture of the both. If you're level 100, you are going to be plowing through lower level enemies no matter what you do, even if you have a naked character. But if you take all your weapons off, I forgot what I'm saying. The pre-Legion patch, a lot of people are... oh, I guess I have to talk to Jaina again to get this next wave started.
I'm trying to think here.
Okay, so Wind Chill is down, or Ice Chill, whatever his name was, and I have the next waves coming in. Again, if I was level 70 and in a raid, these guys would be helping out, and they'd probably be dying, a few of them. You have to keep Jaina protected, but since I am so powerful, then I am going to go ahead and kill all these waves without too much of a problem. I'm going to go back to where they spawn, and I'll try to get the next boss to come in as quickly as possible. How far can I go? Can I go all the way back here? Probably not. Not that I want to. I want to kill all these waves as quickly as possible to get the next boss to come in. Who is going to be... I totally forget. Let me find out real quick because I have all these notes over here. It is going to be Anetheron. Let's see if I can find him real quick. I have to kill these guys. Anetheron, a Doom Guard, I suppose, is this race here. I kind of totally forget what their name is, but they are the guys that the Warlocks can summon. Anetheron, let me look up his abilities real quick so I can talk him down. He has a Carrion Swarm that will attack almost anybody in front of him, I believe. Reduces healing by 75%. He has a Vampiric Aura here. Every time I do damage to him, I am healed. No, opposite. He is healed for a bunch of damage every time he attacks in melee. He summons an Infernal every 60 seconds or so, which does a big AoE to everybody. And if I had a whole raid here, I'd have to run away and have an off tank kind of take him down a little bit. I'm sleeped. Dreadlord. So the two bosses here, there are going to be two bosses at the next town coming up. And there are going to be one big boss after that that we have to take down. But the Unbreakable Will. It's a sword. Let me see here. A lot of these models are not the best from Burning Crusade. It's actually really interesting to go from the Black Temple to the Sunwell Plateau because there is a marked increase in the graphical ability of these characters. Big boss? Big boss? So I've defeated the first two waves, and now Jaina is going to warp everybody out of here because there are going to be a lot of bad people coming through this gate in a second. Why can't I? Am I in combat? Oh, crap. Alright. How am I in combat? I know there are guys coming through here, but I wouldn't think that I've actually been tagged by them yet, but this will be a slow walk if I can't actually mount. Oh, what the hell was that? Okay, I have. Oh my God! It's because I had the totem down. That would totally make sense. I had the totem down, and that is counted as kind of a secondary character. So, that was an unpleasant thing to have happen. Let me summon it up here and try to get the heck out of the way here. How many more raids will it take for me to be in actual danger? If I did Cataclysm 25-man Heroic, I would probably have a few that I could not get through. Not because I would be taking too much damage, but because there are going to be too many weird tricks that I can't get past. Mostly stuff like infinite stuns or spells that take off percentage of health rather than actual health is pretty tough. There's a spider in the Firelands raid that will stun you until you die. Even if you can take all the damage, you will eventually just be overwhelmed. So a couple raids after this or a couple expansions after this will be required before I am actually in any real danger. Which isn't to say that there's not danger in these raids too. There's always going to be some bosses that will do percentage damage of your health. Like if they take 2% of your damage of your health every couple seconds, that can actually add up pretty quickly, even though I am 30 levels above these bosses. So you have to be kind of careful in all these raids. But for the most part, these things are pretty easy. And then the Pandaria raids are pretty tough, even to solo at 10 man. I I've gotten a couple bosses down with the Pandaria Tin Mans, but I really do need a second person there, or even a third person there to get very far in that. Um, so hopefully we'll get through all that stuff, and even up to what we do in Draenor. I mean, I can pop Raid Finder pretty quickly as a tank. But hopefully we'll be able to get through all this stuff before Legion comes out over the next couple months. Anyways, so I made it to the second base here. This is the Horde encampment. There's the Alliance base back here, Horde encampment, and I have 2 more bosses and few more waves of enemies to come in. And this is actually a little more complicated because they will spawn behind me at some point here. So I am on the first wave of this phase of enemies. There are going to be 8 waves, but at least a few of them will spawn behind me, and that's pretty annoying because they are tough to track down. Excuse me. So again, if you're not familiar with this raid, this is a recreation of the end of Warcraft 3, where Archimonde is trying to attack the World Tree Teldrassil or something like that. He wants... I actually totally forget Warcraft 3. I haven't played that in a long time, but I guess he wants ultimate power or something like that. And you were trying to stop him eventually, but now we have to go back, and here's a third wave here, and I have to go back and take these monsters out before they kill the guards in the city behind you. Too many gargoyles. And I do not really have much in the way of ranged attack except for this lightning spell. But even that is enough to take most of these guys out. It'd probably do a lot more damage if I was a Mistweaver, but I am not. Okay, where am I going? One more. Oh, so many of these guys. How many dogs will I own at my dog peak? You know, I've never owned a dog. I have never had a dog as a pet. I've always been reliant on the kindness of strangers when I have to get my chomps on. My girlfriend has a couple pups who love me. Oh my goodness, they love me. Holy mackerel, because I pet them so much. She's more the disciplinarian of the relationship, and I just come over and pet them a bunch. But my grandparents have always had dogs, which is great. I've dog sat for people a bunch in my life. But no, I've never owned a dog. True fact. Rory fact. Three-Eyed Sloth says, if I remember right, the tree is destroyed at the end of War 3. I know Archimonde is not successful in his attempt to get the tree. I'm not sure if it's destroyed or not. It's a weird whole thing that goes on, which we'll see in a bit. We're about halfway through the first wave of enemies, and there's 2 more bosses to go. Oh, this whole thing we have to go back and fight these gargoyles is not super fun, unfortunately. It's kind of dumb as a soloer to have to go back and take all this stuff out. So, but what are you gonna do? We make sacrifices for our art. Gargoyles, 1 more left. Here we go. Okay, 5 of 8 waves down. I have a few more left, and I have to get back. I assume if you're actually in a raid, you would kind of separate your raid to have some people dealing with the waves coming in. These waves will spawn as you kill the previous wave, but I believe they have also a timer. So if you don't kill them quickly enough, you will have to deal with more enemies and probably wipe your whole damn thing. But at the moment, I am doing okay because I am pretty fast. They're not more gargoyles, are there? I would not care for that. There are more gargoyles. God, not cool and not fun either. So here's Thrall over here. He is obviously a very powerful character. If any of the enemies actually break through the defenses up here and get to him, he will help you out quite a bit. But I shouldn't need him to do that because I am going to kill things very quickly. Is this all one raid, or am I practicing an arena? No, this is all one big raid here. This whole map is one huge raid. I'm going to go over here in a bit, and this is going to be Archimonde. I'm trying to think if Archimonde is actually the boss of the Sunwell, too. He keeps on popping up in a bunch of places, but I know it's another Eridar. But, I don't know. Okay. Incoming enemies 1. Okay, frost dragons are here now too, but I can take them out pretty easily. Sunwell is killed Jaden. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, the first boss here is going to be Caragol. He has a big cleave. What the hell? Oh, come on. He has a War Stomp that stuns everybody nearby. He has a cleave that does a big damage to everybody in front of him, so the tank has to face him away from the raid, as they always do. And he also has like a cripple effect, which will reduce speed of attacks and movement by like, God, a lot. So he's bad. He's a bad guy. Oh my God, there's one more wave. Good lord. Do I care about Warcraft lore? I care about it to the extent that it really matters in gameplay. There's a bunch of stuff that are from novels and there's a bunch of stuff from novels and outside the game kind of stuff, which I don't particularly care about. And I actually find sometimes that they overdo a lot of stuff. And they expect you to know what's going on in the world from stuff that is outside of it, which is not super awesome a lot of the time. But no, in the end, I don't particularly care a huge amount. It's not particularly well done. Shall we say. Anyways, this is Kaz Rogal. He is another big, bad demon guy who would be dangerous if I was actually at his level, but since I am not, I'm going to take him out. Ha ha ha! I'm dying! Ha 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 ha! I'm dying! I'm dead! Ha 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 ha! Why were you laughing there, buddy? So you can actually get the sword from Archimonde later on. I believe I actually probably have it on a couple of my characters. This sword, I don't know if it's a unique model, but you can loot it, and it's very, very big. What is this UI? This is a combination of things here. I believe this is, let's see. What is one of my bars? I forget what bars I use. Are they not on here? I forget what bars I use. Let's see if I can find it real quick. I'm really weirded out by this, the fact that my bars are not on this thing here, but they should be up on my minimap. Bartender, that's what I use for my bars. And the rest of the stuff is all various weird things that are kind of added on to bartender, and X-Pearl unit frames are the unit frames that I use. That is a cool. I'm gonna hang out here. I'm gonna I'm gonna not be alive up in the air. All right. So I have 8 more waves to go before the next boss, and then I can go to the end boss, which should be fun. Now I just have to kill everything in my way. I should probably move this totem back a little bit as well to prevent when the boss enemies hit it. I prefer them to be in a area where they can get killed. Ah, gargoyles! Gosh darn it! You guys are no fun at all. So now the waves will start to split up between ground forces and air forces, which is not really super fun because you have to track down all these little Twinkie bad guys back in the base here. Which is not. I prefer to have them all in one space because I could AOE them down, but unfortunately, do not make that easy. Okay, third wave. And now we have Infernals as well, which at least will come down on the ground so I can attack them. But oh man, this is tedious. I'm sure if you're actually at level 70 with a 25-man raid, this was super exciting, and you would have to actually call out stuff and focus down enemies and things like that. But uh, as somebody who is just trying to get through it, it is kind of the worst to have to track down all these people and take them out before the next wave spawns. Where is the last one here? Oh man, it's all the way over there. So you can solo all these old raids, but this is one of the things where having a second person would be super handy. Just like the chess event in Karazhan would be easier with 2 people. But you can totally do this as one of these persons. One person, shall we say. Game audio is on. Somebody says this doesn't feel very epic without game audio, but it is on. I can turn up a little bit if you guys want me to. Let me see if I can do that real quick. Let me know how the balance works for you guys, because I always have a hard time figuring out how my voice will work over the game audio, but it should be coming out to you guys. Huh. I don't recall. Most of these old raids did have attunement, but I've never had to do those because they were all patched out at some point. Well before. Well before I have Okay, let me try to turn up the game audio. Let me know if the game audio is acceptable to all you guys. Uno más. What phone do I currently own? I use a Nexus 6P at this point, which is pretty cool. I wish I didn't have a habit of breaking a phone every time at E3 because all the new phones come out in like November, and I always wind up buying a new phone in August or something like that, or July, right before all the new phones come out. So that's really kind of annoying. But at the moment, I am using a 6P, which is pretty cool. I actually like it a bunch. You don't really appreciate how much a fingerprint scanner will affect your ability to log onto your phone until you have one. So I'm pretty happy with it. Have I decided when I am going to main in Legion? I usually have a Paladin tank that I go through, and I hear that tanking as a monk is really going to be a lot more difficult in Legion. I enjoy playing all my tanks, but I am probably going to stick with my Paladin. I just enjoy having a big shield and blocking stuff. It's pretty easy and passive, but it's not that difficult. But I'm also going to try that Demon Hunter tank thing. That seems interesting. I do like tanking, and I enjoy all the tank classes. It's basically the only thing I play at this point. Okay. Here. Oh my gosh. One more boss. God dang it. Or one more wave. Prot Warrior, somebody says, God bless the Prot Warrior. I've actually had a really tough time getting into the groove with my Warrior tank over the last couple of expansions. I enjoyed playing my Prot, man, I can barely hear myself talk, which is probably for the best.
Abandon all hope. The Legion has returned to finish.
It's a Pit Lord.
Begun so many years.
Asgalore.
This time, there will be no escape.
So he has a Rain of Fire, which is an AoE damage ability that he'll cast on a random person. He also has a 5-second long silence that will attack the whole raid when he casts it. He'll probably do it any second now. Every 15 seconds is when he casts that. Turn my own ground. And every 45 seconds, he will cast a Doom on a random raid member. When it ends, they will die and summon a lesser Doom Guard. Which, if I believe he can do that on me, even though I'm a solo player, but I do not want him to because that would actually kill me. Murderer! See if she casts this on me.
Suffer, you despicable insect.
So I've been doomed, and at the end of this, I will die. So I'm gonna have to take him out. I might actually die anyways because I don't know if it goes away when we need. Doom, I know. Oh, god damn it! That was a bad idea. I'm dead. Shit, I hope I don't have to do all that over again. Let's see. So yeah, when you get doomed, you die at the end of it, and you become a lesser doom guard. And there's no way around that. But hopefully I killed the boss before I got dead. So hopefully I will not have to do all this over again. But we will find out in a second. That's the first death, Jabronium asks. I believe I've died before. I think I died at Cthulhu in one of the early raids. There are a lot of bosses that will have some kind of instant death ability, and the fact that I can mow down most of these people without too much of a problem. I kind of want to show off what they do before I get too far into stuff. So it's the price of. Okay, did I warped to the Night Elf village, but I didn't talk to I didn't talk to Thrall back here, so maybe I am done with that part?
May a loom light your path.
Anyway, so I guess I beat the two bosses there, so I'm okay. If I go back a little bit here, I'll show you the end boss of this raid, and we will go down and fight him. So here's Archimonde. He is attacking the world tree, which is a big tree. He wants to. I honestly forget what he wants to do, but he wants to blow it up because he's a bad guy, and I have to go down there and fight him at some point. So let me turn off the music for a second because I can barely hear myself talk. So Archimonde will have an ability that actually sends you way up into the air, and you have to talk to this lady over here to get an item that prevents that from killing you. Let me do that real quick. Although as a monk, I am probably not have to worry about it too much. But so I have Tears of the Goddess, which will slow my falling speed. Let me put that on somewhere I can actually get it. I'm going to turn the music down a bit, because I cannot hear myself talk. Have I done a walkthrough of Zul'Gurub? I honestly don't know that it's available anymore as a raid. I think it got turned into a 5-man dungeon in Cataclysm, and it's tough to get to and get through. Or even to find the entrance now. You can go to Stranglethorn Vale, but it's kind of not a raid or a dungeon anymore. It's kind of a weird situation to have going on. But no, I haven't done Zul'Gurub, and I probably won't be able to. Anyway, Archimonde. He is a bad guy. Everybody in the raid basically has to stay alive because he has a thing called Soul Charge, where if any raid member dies, he basically has everybody else takes about half their life in damage, and they'll either get silenced or have a damage debuff where they take more damage, or they have a mana burn. So basically, everybody in the raid kind of has to stay alive. Oh fuck! I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to. Sorry, buddy. That was a big aggro range. Go attack that thing. Also, he will cast flames on the ground, and if you hit one of these, you will get doom fired. It's a 1000 DPS, a big 5-minute debuff that does a bunch of damage that you have to kind of heal through. I'm going to try not to attack him because I kind of want to talk about this a little bit more than I did not intend to aggro him, but no, that's Grip of the Legion. This is a big debuff that has to be dispelled by some of your Anybody who has a dispelling ability, because it does a huge amount of damage if I was actually level 70. And you can also fear almost anybody in the raid. So if you get feared and you go into this fire, you are probably gonna die, or at least you would if I was actually, you know, appropriate level for this. So basically, whenever you cast this fire down, you have to get your whole raid away from it because what? Oh, I think that would have killed me, but didn't kill me. That seems much more damaging. Finger of Death. I'm actually not sure what that does, but at any rate, you have to keep your whole raid away from these flame paths, because if you get feared into it, you will take a huge amount of damage and have a debuff, which would probably kill you. And as soon as you die, or any raid member dies, he gets a big buff to himself, which in turn makes it more easy for him to kill everybody else in a raid. So he's big. He's a big guy. Anyway, that's Archimonde. He wanted to kill the World Tree, but I am not going to let him do that because I am... Once you get him down below 10% health, you have basically won, because all these wisps come in and start eating him up. I am not even attacking him now, but he will not survive this whole experience. Oh, wisps. He will live to fight another day. I believe he is a boss in, oh man, I want to say Cataclysm or Pandaria. I think he's the end boss of Pandaria, if I'm not mistaken. I think he is actually, no, wait. He's one of the bosses in one of the Pandaria raids. I think Grash is one of the end boss of Pandaria. I have not actually gotten through all the, no, I'm sorry. Strike that. He's a bad guy, at any rate. He comes back. Boss of Draenor. So yeah, he is the end boss of Draenor. Pandaria is Garrosh. And we'll hopefully get to him again, because he is one of those big bosses that will never ever go away. He seems to keep on coming back often. Mount Hyjal was merely a setback. Yeah, there's no big cutscene in here. You kind of beat him and you loot him and you're done. Like, there's no... I tried to walk back up to that elf lady at one point, but she does not have much to say. You're kind of done here after you beat him. A lot of the other raids will have, you know, cutscenes and stuff to let you know that you're done, but no, not here. You're kind of done. You're just kind of done. Still a debuff on me. Alright, I'm going to go on to Black Temple, which is in the Hellfire Peninsula. Not Hellfire Peninsula. I have to warp a little bit to get to it, but we are going to keep on. They didn't really start doing cutscenes till Kata. I mean, I don't want to say cutscenes, but a lot of other raids in this expansion will have people talking to each other. Not full cutscenes, but have dialogue between NPCs. Where am I going? People are talking in the chat about how easy it is to get into WoW, and it definitely is easier than it used to be. There's a lot of talk about vanilla servers and stuff like that, but honestly, I mean, this was never a difficult game if you compare it to something like WildStar or old EverQuest or anything like that. Like, you don't have to really do camp spawns or anything like that to get ahead in the game. It's always been a game that you can solo to the end level. You don't have to group with anybody ever if you don't want to. So yes, if you want to get into an MMO, I would totally recommend WoW. It is super easy to get to max level. Maybe a little bit too easy. It's one of those things where a lot of people get to the end of the game and don't have these skills required to get into a heroic dungeon and actually perform their tasks, which is good and bad. I mean, everything has to be accessible. Nobody wants to have a game that is so hardcore that only the top 10% of people can actually play it. But I think WoW strikes a pretty good balance. I've never played at the upper echelon of rating difficulty, so I can't really speak to that, but I've always had a good time playing it. It's very much an autopilot kind of game, though. I've never felt super challenged. Cataclysm was definitely rough when I started playing that in the dungeons, but you can adjust your own difficulty to suit your own needs. So I think WoW is definitely easy to get into now. So it was so solo friendly compared to Final Fantasy XI. That is definitely true. Wow, I played FF11 for a hot second back in the day. God, probably before I played this. I'm not sure when it actually came out, but you get to about level 8, and after that you really have to start grouping up with people, and it was not super easy to find groups to do missions and stuff like that. It was always kind of a chore. But I had a friend who really was into FF11, and some of the stuff he told me about the raids, like he was in raids for like 10 hours a day on the weekends, just trying to get through one raid. It seemed really, really hardcore, but if you're into that, you're into that. I've been meaning to go back and try Guild Wars 2 a little bit more too, because I had a good time with that when I played it, but I also didn't really particularly care for the weapon stance thing where you only have like 5 abilities at a time and you have to switch weapons to get more. It always seemed vaguely simplistic, but I really respected the world building and the amount of content you got for having a $50 game with no subscription fee. Anyways, here we are. Black Temple. This is where Illidan has been holed up, and he is going to... God, I don't even remember what he's doing here. He wants to get a skull. He already has the skull of Gul'dan. I totally forget what his goal in the soul expansion was. But anyways, you're going to go and... I'm going to go and kill him. Speaking of FF, could anybody say what FF 14 is like? I played 14 for about a month as well. I had actually a really good time with it. The tanking in that game, the threat mechanics were really interesting to get a hold of as a tank, because you had to be pretty much on the ball in terms of keeping monsters focused on you. In World of Warcraft, the threat is basically not an issue. You are totally holding every enemy on you no matter what you do, as long as you're semi-competent. But in 14, you really had to struggle and try your best to get the monsters to focus on you, which was nice. My main problem in that game is that I got a mount. You get chocobos at some point. They're like 20% faster than your run speed, which was not super cool. I really want double movement speed if I have a mount. That wasn't fun. When I found out that you only get like a 20% movement increase from a mount, I was not super happy. And I think I stopped playing after my first month because of that. Okay, here we are in the Black Temple. Ow, I ran into a rock. I can actually avoid most of these monsters. I don't think they aggro unless I'm really right on top of them, so... somebody says their girlfriend is a big Final Fantasy fan and has been asking about that game lately. Final Fantasy 14. I mean, it's not a core Final Fantasy game, but it is interesting enough if you feel like riding a chocobo at some point. I don't know. It's not. I've been off and on with FF lately. I played 13. I tried my best to play 13.2, and I did not get very far. And I tried the demo of 13.3, and that was about as far as I've gotten. I kind of have fallen off the Final Fantasy bandwagon later. Let me get some more water real quick, and I'll be right back, and we'll fight a boss. How about that? I'll be right back. Okay, the first boss here is going to be High Warlord Nagentus. He has a needle spine. This is actually an interesting boss who I'm not going to have too much of a problem with. But he will have he will spine people. He will basically freeze them in place and have a big stick sticking out of them, and other players have to go and loot that off of him. And when he casts a tidal shield around him, the player who looted that has to throw the spine at the boss to prevent the shield from, or remove the shield from him. I don't think any of these mechanics are going to be deployed here because I'm going to kill
In the name of Lady
everybody pretty quick. Let's see here. I don't know if he can actually spine me when I have... My totem is up, so there are technically 2 raid members. I'm not sure if he will actually spine me, but we'll see. Meh. No, I don't think he's actually going to do anything to me. Again, a lot of these mechanics will depend on having multiple raid members, and since I'm the only technically the only raid member here, he's not going to use his whole suite of abilities. So he's basically just going to hit me until I kill him, and I'm going to kill him right now. Oh, there it is. So tidal shield. I can't hurt him until I hit him with a spine, but I don't think I have the ability to get a spine because I don't have any raid members here to loot a spine from. So basically he's just kind of immune to everything for 15 seconds. Slash pizza. Does that work?
My patience has run out. Die.
Oh, I guess he enraged, but I'm still pretty powerful. This stream is not telegraphed on the front page, or am I blind? I think I forgot to make promos for this thing, but these have always been kind of not official content anyway, so I no big deal if people find it or don't find it. These are my own indulgence as a staffer. I'm not really an editor of Giant Bomb. I'm mostly behind the scenes, so I kind of just do these to entertain myself. And I also do have a link to the Community Endurance Run charity down below the stream here if you're in the Giant Bomb chat. If you have a buck or two to give to Pencils of Promise, feel free to click on that and give it away. We hit our target a while back, but if you obviously we're always looking for more charitable donations if you're entertained or not entertained. I don't know. Did you remember any rumors of WoW coming to consoles back in the day? That has always been a weird kind of thing that people talked about. There are a few add-ons that let you map controls to, inputs to controllers, and there are definitely people out there who play this game on their couch with a controller. But I've never heard any kind of official thing that they have been intending to bring this to consoles. I've always suspected that that was one of the things that they wanted to do. Obviously, Diablo 3 came to consoles well after it hit PCs, but it seems like that at this point they are Blizzard is kind of content with having this be still the biggest MMO around, at least paid MMO on the PC. I've always been really curious if they ever have an intent to get this onto consoles, but with the amount of patching that they do, it would be really difficult to get this game through the certification process of Xbox or PlayStation. Okay, here is the next boss, Supremus, who, let me look up all these notes that I have. He casts Molten Flame that will do... Man, that's loud. He will cast Molten Flame that will do damage to anyone standing in it, so you have to avoid that. He will do Hateful Strike, will target anyone with the most health near him, so you have to have multiple tanks to take all that. And in Phase 2, he will gaze on a random party member and start walking towards them. You can't really taunt him off of this. He'll start casting volcanoes, too, at that point. So basically, anybody who is gazed has to run away pretty quickly, because most raid members will not be able to take Supremus damage. I'm sorry, I'm burping a lot. I am burping a lot. It's fun. Yeah, somebody says the game in its current form would be unplayable on a controller. They've done a lot of work in terms of reducing the amount of skills that you need to play the game, but I definitely have about 20 different things that I cast on a regular basis, so I can't imagine actually playing this on a controller. I'm sure that they would love to make it work, though. Man, this guy has no... Okay, there he is. So when he gazes on people, you have to run away, or you would if I was not a tank. But and you can actually make him what's the word for it? Be untargetable and despawn and respawn with his full health if you run up like one of these little ramps or anything like that. So he is mildly dangerous. Oh my gosh. Reset. That's the word I'm looking for. He would reset if if one of the characters he was gazing on would run up in a place where he couldn't get them. So that was obviously a danger. And he also can, I believe, fear people or throw them back. He could knock people back. So if you're actually a raid trying to take him down legit, you would probably have to make sure that you take down all these ads. Otherwise, if a raid member gets knocked back into one of the ads, they're going to pull a lot of people onto the raid and probably wind up killing the whole shebang, which is not fun. Anyways, this dude was the guard of the full entrance to the Black Temple. You notice I went through a side way to actually get in here. There's no way to actually get in the front doors, but now that I'm here, I am actually in the Black Temple, and I'm going to start trying to find my way to Illidan. I am prepared, actually. Prepared to kill him, I suppose. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat room, giantbomb.com/chat. That's where I am, and anything not related to WoW, whatever you like, site stuff, 4th of July. Politics? No, not politics. I won't talk about that. Alright, so there are multiple bosses I have to clear in here. The shade of, what's-his-face is over here. There are 2 other bosses that I have to kill before I get up to this, oh man, what's her name? Mother Shiraz is the other one up here, but I have to kill a few of these guys first. I'm gonna kill the Shade of Iran. Shade of Iran? Is it Iran? The Bringer of Death binds when equipped. Man, dude, you're really hitting that arrow a lot. It's a skull on a stick. That's not really cool. I'm always looking for good transmog stuff, but that one's just kind of lame. Akama! Shade of Iran is from Karazhan. So I'm going to go kill Akama's Shade. Right over here. How do I like Deadpool? I just saw that movie from a question from the chat. I thought Deadpool was fun, but some of the humor was just a little bit over the top for me. Fourth wall stuff is really easy to overdo. And I thought maybe they kind of... Oh, why am I stunned? Why am I stunned? My heart has been weakened. What the hell? Okay, here is the Shade of Iran. So I don't know if any of you saw me play the last... Oh, mother of God. Really? I've been stunned. Okay. So Akama's over here. He is the big Death Tongue Ashworn guy who is betraying Illidan. Illidan doesn't know it at this point, but Akama is trying to take him out. Man, that's annoying. Holy shit. I guess I only have like 2 minutes left on that. When I went through the Naga raid, there's a dude in there who is the protector of the secret that all these Ash-Tongue Death Sworns, I think I want to say. They're basically Draenei, or broken Draenei. They're all trying to kill Illidan, but he thinks they're all loyal to him. So Akama's going to be the guy who helps you get to Illidan, shall we say. But first I have to help him get his soul back up here, because I guess people are trying to... Don't steal my soul! I guess people are being mean to him. Let me take out all these ads real quick. Is the first one of these archived? These are all on my YouTube channel. If you look up youtube.com/whatever /mrory, they should all be there. Anyway, so the Shade of Akama is over here. Akama's going to fight his own Shade Soul dude thing. So you have to keep Akama alive while he attacks his own soul, and there's going to be some ads coming from both of these things. So you have to both kill the Shade and all the ads, or at least prevent them from killing... What the... That's annoying. Okay, so after you aggro the Shade up here, he will kill Akama within 60 seconds. This is a pretty quick fight. You have to go pretty quick with all these dudes up here. So let me go ahead and... Can I aggro? What? Oh, Akama has to walk up here and start this fight, I think. Or, no, I have to talk to Akama. Okay. Where you at, buddy? There you are. Alright. I love my little totem thing to get the ads out of everything. it is super handy to just not have to worry about ads attacking anybody else because they all attack my little thing here. I gotta kill all these guys too. All right. So now that I've killed all his little binders, Akama will start to run down here and attack himself. And now I have about 60 seconds to take him out. I think I'm gonna be okay. I think I might be able to manage. I've never actually had him die, to be honest with you. Anyway, Shade of Akama attacking Akama. You have to take out the Shade of Akama, so Akama will help you get to Illidan. And I'm gonna hit him once, and bop. Get bopped, son. That would be a lot more difficult if I was 70 and there were ads coming from both sides of the room. But as I am fairly powerful, 300,000 health is not, or 450 is not really a huge amount of life for a boss at this point in the game. Now he is going to call in all his people, and he will make some of the groups in this room over here. They used to be hostile to you. They will now be friendly, so you don't have to actually kill them. But I don't know, maybe you want to, but you can't now because they're all friendly. Akama, cool dude. Alright, you guys are... Alright. Shade of Kama. Now you have unlocked these vendors over here too, so I'm going to go sell some stuff. I don't think I've sold anything in a while. Probably need to do that. Well, sneaky.
Something you like?
Eh. 5 gold. I'll keep it anyways, just to see if I can sell it later. Buy game time. You can actually buy game time with in-game gold at this point if you'd like to. So just resubscribe anytime you want to. I need to get off monthly and go to 6 months because I'm sure I'm going to play this for at least 6 more months. I'm currently on the monthly plan, which is dumb because you spend a lot more that way. Alright, let me refill my water real quick and we'll come back and we'll kill a few bosses and then we'll go up to Mother Shiraz and then the Council of Illidari, or the Illidari Council, and then Illidan. Illidan! Alright, I'll be right back. Okay. Moving on to the next few bosses. There are a few bosses you can kill in a variety of orders, but I'm just going to walk up to Gorefiend. Terran Gorefiend, a weird lore boss. This guy has a big, huge history behind him, which I think I wrote down some notes on. He was an acolyte of Gul'dan, who... Oh man, Gul'dan. What a weird... Gul'dan was an old orc who I think was corrupted by demonic energy, and in Warcraft 3, when Illidan escapes from his prison, he is going to find Gul'dan's skull, which I believe he uses to, I don't know, gain ultimate power. Everybody wants power in these games. That's all they want. But Gorefiend was a follower of Gul'dan, and he actually has a big quest chain in the zone out here. What is this? I forget what zone this is, but Shadow Moon Valley. There's a big quest for Gorefiend to get his gear back, and eventually you find out that you're actually aiding and abetting a known criminal. And he died a long time ago, but he became kind of a Death Knight-ish character, and now somehow he wound up in the service of Illidan. It's not really well explained, but he is a big lore character in Warcraft. So all these guys, I don't think I need to fight any of them. I don't think they actually aggro when I attack Gorefiend, so don't worry about it. Illidan shafted by Malfurion. Illidan has a weird history. I'm really curious what he does in Legion 2. Obviously, he's one of the most iconic characters in this whole lore thing, maybe after Arthas. So I'm not surprised they brought him back. I honestly forget if he was supposed to die in the actual, lore of this expansion. I think he probably goes back to prison or something like that. But
No. For me, the wheel of death has spun many times. So much time has passed. I have a lot of catching up to do.
I have a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, so Terran's a big lore character. He really has no reason to be in this raid, but he is. And you have to go kill him. Terran's big mechanic is the ability to give a random player a debuff that kills them. Every 30 seconds he will give a debuff to a random player. 60 seconds after they get the debuff, they become a ghost, and they will spawn 4 constructs that start walking back towards the raid. And as you are a ghost, you have to attack all the ads that you are spawning when you die before they go to the raid, because they're very powerful, and you're the only one who can actually damage them. Let's see if I can actually do that real quick. I'm not sure if I can get that debuff, but if I can, we'll see if I can. And then I'll obviously die, but it's kind of interesting to see what happens. Bah! So I haven't gotten the debuff yet, but let's see if I... Maybe I can't, since I'm the only raid member here, but we'll see. We'll give it a second. I don't think I can actually be targeted by that debuff. I don't think I can turn into a ghost. I could have sworn that I have in the past, but maybe because I have the second aggro with the... Okay. He probably doesn't mark the highest aggro, as somebody said in the chat, so I'm probably immune to this thing. Anyways, it was a interesting mechanic, but I don't think I can actually be targeted for it. Soul Cleaver. I wish I could use two-handed axes, but I can't. I think there are 2 more bosses that I have to do. Blood boil, gut boil, and there's a 3-headed monster that the model was reused, I remember, in Wrath of the Lich King. There are 2 of those, and then Mother Shiraz, and then I have to take out the Council of the Illidari before I can get to Illidan. So a bit of hopping around here, but not too terrible. I really like playing WoW. I really do enjoy the experience of playing WoW, but I really have so much other stuff to play right now. I'm still trying to catch up on Uncharted. I still haven't beaten Uncharted 4. I got to like chapter 12. I got to the driving part of it and kind of dropped off. So I need to get through that. I still have to beat Bloodborne after a year and a half or so of that. Space Pirates and Zombies 2. Still, I just bought that on early access, which I need to get through. A lot of stuff in my backlog. But WoW is the best television watching game ever made, as far as I'm concerned. There is no better thing to put on and mindlessly go kill shit and maybe get a drop or some experience while you're watching a TV show on the second monitor. I think I've seen 30 Rock maybe the entire run of 30 Rock maybe 3 or 4 times while playing WoW. What is my game of the year so far? Doom is really good. Doom is really good. I haven't played a lot of new games this year, unfortunately, but Doom definitely is super surprisingly great. I am making my way to the next boss here. Let's see. I forget what it's called. Reliquary of Souls. These guys will respawn after a short period of time, so you have to kind of be really quick to get through here, or you would if you were a raid back in the day. The Reliquary will activate if you go down this ramp a little bit, so you have to be pretty quick and let all of your raid members... Oh, man. So the problem is once you get these little things spawning on you, you are in combat, which means you do not regenerate mana or health or anything like that, so you have to be really quick about getting here and then having a rest or eat, and then preparing yourself for this boss, because he definitely seems super not easy. I mean, he's going to be not very complicated for me, but it really seems like it would have been a complicated fight back in the day. Reliquary of Souls. So these guys, this is 3-phase fight. The first one seems, all of them seem really complicated. The first phase, you cannot heal anybody, so you have to have multiple tanks getting him, taunting him off of the tank as they take damage. But you cannot heal anybody, so you basically have to take him down really quickly. And all the healers are basically doing DPS at this point, as far as I can tell. He will fixate on the closest target every 5 seconds. And once you actually take him down, assuming you can burn him really quickly, he will spawn ghosts. So as people are casting their spells, I don't think there's actually any mana regeneration at all in that phase. So you're not actually regenerating any mana for your healers or mages or anybody else. But once you're done with that phase, you get all these enslaved souls, and you have to basically group up your entire raid on them. And as you kill them, they will regenerate all the mana and health for your raid. So you do get a bit of a healing effect from these guys, but not as you normally would. The second phase is the Essence of Desire. You're going to have 50% of all the damage that you deal, 50% of it comes back to you. Healing is doubled, but you do all of your mana people with mana will lose maximum mana every 8 seconds. So you only have about a minute or 2 minutes of actual ability to do anything before everybody loses mana. And at that point, you can't heal anybody, and you're probably gonna wipe. I don't have to worry about that because I don't use mana and I don't really have to be healed. So the rune shield here, you can steal that. If you have spell steal or anything else, you can dispel it too, I think. But in any case. Again, at the end of this phase, you have all these ghosts spawn, and everybody will stack up, and if you burn them down, you'll be able to regenerate all your healing and health and mana. So the last phase is the Essence of Anger, where basically you can't switch the aggro target, or whoever is focusing on them, because if you taunt or the boss switches aggro, you get a 10-second debuff, and everybody basically will have a threat gain thing. So if you do switch or taunt or anything like that, the mages back in the back will probably get aggro after that. So it's kind of, let's see if I can do it real quick. Increases damage dealt, but I believe it also increases threat too, so you have to be mildly careful. And if you have a mage in the back or a rogue or anything like that, if you have the increased threat on them, they will wind up taking threat from the tank and probably wind up wiping the raid, which are not fun. Beware, coward! Anyway. What did I get? That is a crappy model. Holy mackerel. Touch of inspiration. Man. If I got that, I'd be really disappointed. That does not look cool at all. Who else do I have to kill? Gurtog Bloodboil is coming up. Do I still play daily? I don't log in every day, but once Legion comes around, I definitely will. I mean, at this point in the life cycle of the expansion, there's not really a huge need to log in daily. I could go do Garrison Quest to get gold, which is basically the only thing I use them for at this point. But I will log in if I'm bored. Definitely. But at this point, I'm done with all my... There's no need to go out and get more items and weapons and shit, because they're all going to be replaced pretty soon when Legion comes out. So I don't play daily, but I do play pretty often, for sure. Did I get a pet? I got a pet! Fragment of Desire. I already have one. Maybe I'll try to sell that. One of the reasons to do these old raids is that you do get some pets and other weird crap that you can sell on the auction house. I'm not really quite sure how to do that, but I need to figure out how to cage stuff. I have a lot of dudes in here. Okay, one more boss before Mother Shiraz, who is the hen keeper of this whole place. One of the weird things about all these old dungeons is how many prostitutes there are just kind of hanging around. They don't call them prostitutes, they call them concubines, but we'll get to that in a second. Like, what does Illidan need with earthly pleasures? Gurtog Bloodboil. He has an ability that will attack the 5 furthest people away from him, which does a huge amount of damage as a debuff that will stack for like 24 seconds. So basically when you fight this guy, you had to have people all the way back. 15 people, I think, would have to stand as far away from him as possible while they could still do damage, and they would have to rotate their lines to move forward, so the people who got the debuff would move back a little bit. Another line would go up for those 5 people, they get the debuff and then move back, and so on and so forth. So that's the first phase, and then after that, he will cast a thing called Fell Rage, which will basically make the raid member he cast. Let's go ahead and see. There's acidic wound, extra damage, and armor reduction. So you have to kind of make sure you have multiple tanks to get that off of you. And there's blood boys too. Since I'm the only raid member, he will be casting that on me. Once we get to phase 2, he'll cast Fell Rage on me. Where is it? Maybe it's just a timer thing. Let's see. Oh, dang. I'm confused, and I think so is he. I'm trying to get the Fell Rage on me, but I think it's just a timer thing where I have to wait a little bit. Do I think we might do a Legion quick look? You know, I might stream some Legion, but in the end, doing a quick look of a MMO just seems really... It's really tough to make day-to-day gameplay of an MMO exciting to watch. Even, this is a raid, and that there's a lot of downtime and stuff like that. So I will definitely be playing Legion, and I might stream some of that, but I doubt we'll... I don't know. I don't know if I'll do a quick look. I'm not even in the beta, so I'm not really sure what the heck is going on with that, but yeah. We will see what our coverage plans are. I'm going to kill Gurtog Blood Boil. Bye-bye. What the heck? I got it. Man, 10,000 gold. Am I in the Giant Bomb Guild? I'm not sure. Snyder set that up a long time ago. I'm not sure how active that still is. I'm on Kel'Durai. This is a friends guild, but there are very few people even active anymore with it. Let me see if I can find the... I don't know what button it is to open up the guild interface anymore. There's only a few people on at any given time. There's 322 members of this guild, but very few people are actually active anymore. Guilds became kind of a casualty of WoW when they started adding in like LFR, looking for group, stuff like that. The need to be in a guild kind of got reduced somewhat once you have all these abilities to launch into games with random people. You still get bonuses for experience, and I think there's a movement speed bonus too for being in a guild, but beyond that, it hasn't really been a big deal unless you're in a social group where you can actually talk to people. But yeah, there are very few guild members on at any given time for this guild on this character. I probably should get somebody in the Giant Bomb Guild though. The Den of Mortal Delights. So Illidan is ruling over the Black Temple. He moved into this place that used to be owned by, I think, the Draenei or the Broken. I forget who actually owned it back in the day. It's been around for a long time. And he set up a whorehouse, which seems really weird. Or maybe the whorehouse was always here, but he's got concubines and courtesans, and I guess he has to keep his soldiers happy, but it's always weird. There's one of these in Karazhan too, like we really need a whorehouse when you're trying to take over the world. I don't know. Sunwell, I think I'm going to save for Tuesday. I think I'm going to get through Illidan here and probably call it a day. I need to take a nap at some point. But definitely I have Sunwell, a bunch of notes on it, and I think I'm going to stream on Tuesday as well. We'll try to get through Sunwell and try to also get through a bit of Wrath of the Lich King. Like, oh my god. Oh man. What's that raid? The undead raid. in the big floaty thing. Oh man, I'm totally blanking on it right now, but let me see here real quick. It's not in here. Not, starts with an N. Starts with an N, and I cannot remember the name of it right now. I'm sure somebody is going to tell me in chat real quick. Naxxramas, that's the one. Between Sunwell and Naxxramas, like Naxxramas, even as a well leveled above the required level, that takes a long time still to this day. There's like 18 bosses in that thing. So I think I'll probably save that for Tuesday as well as Sunwell Plateau, because we all have to remember the Sunwell. All these Blood Elves are always saying that. Remember the Sunwell! Like, nobody forgot about it. How could we? It's still there. I don't know why they keep on saying that. Like, never forget the Sunwell. Why would we? It's pretty easy to remember. Naxxramas. Yeah, so we'll do Naxxramas and Sunwell Plateau on Tuesday, I think. Once we get through the long weekend. Here is Mother Shah-Raz. She has a few interesting abilities. Let me scroll down to her real quick. The main tank should be on normal, but everybody else in the raid has to be shadow resist gear. She has a Saber Lash, which will attack between 3 targets and divide the damage. You have to kind of have 3 different people around. The big thing for her is Fatal Attraction, which will teleport 3 people and make them all group up. And she will have a big AoE damage for those people. So they have to run the heck away from each other when they get teleported in, which is tough to do because they probably get teleported on other members of the raid too and start doing heavy damage to everybody around them. Excuse me. She will also do a big silence around her, so the healers have to be kind of back and away from her as well. And she will cast Prismatic Aura, which will increase the damage on one type of damage, like you can get a frost buff, but also will reduce the damage on another type of damage. So you can have frost increase, fire decrease, or any number of different permutations on that, which kind of screws you if you're a frost mage and get a frost debuff. But you kind of have to roll with the punches as those come out. But in any case, Mother Shiraz. Again, like a whorehouse in his Black Temple. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Business or pleasure? I'm all yours.
This game is weird sometimes. Try not to kill her too quick.
I'm all yours.
So you see the debuff here. I got shadow damage reduced and holy damage increased, but I don't really do either of those kind of damage, so it doesn't really matter to me. But if you were a caster of some sort, you would probably have to worry about that in a little bit. Kind of silence for 10 seconds. Oh man.
Stop toying with my emotions.
She's frenzied now, but that's weird. There's no actual buff to her for that. Anyway.
Finished.
Blade of Savagery. They got much better with the models for weapons as this game has rolled out. a lot of even the raid drops for these raids are kind of like, it's not that cool anymore. With transmog, you have to you want to get all the stuff in the old raids, but they're just not that cool looking. I mean, I think around Cataclysm they got to the point where they made a lot of the weapons look really, really awesome. But maybe I'll drop one of the Warglaives up here with Illidan. We'll see. I've beaten him multiple times. I've never seen a Warglaive drop. I still remember how big of a deal it was when somebody got 2 Warglaives, both of the unique legendary weapons, and they would just hang out in Iron Forge and dance for a long time just to show them off. So next up is the Council of the Illidari. That's the last boss before Illidan. Kind of reminds me of the Kael'thas fight in the Sun Temple that the Blood Elves have. There are 4 bosses you have to kind of take down at the same time. They're not easy. I'm sure it wasn't easy back in the day. Let me find the notes that I took on these bosses. So they all share a health pool, so you have to kill them all together. If they can't be killed individually, you have to kind of take them all down at one time. When one dies, they all die, but that takes a while to do. Man, they only have 900k damage now. So there's Lady Malande, who is a healer. She has to be tanked kind of away from everybody, but she will heal herself, and of course, since they all share a health pool, she will heal everybody when she heals herself. So you have to. This is a boss that needs to be tanked away from everybody else and kicked or stunned every time she every time she tries to heal herself. There is Zerivor. He's a mage who does a huge amount of damage. He actually has like 7 different abilities. No, I'm mistaken. I think there's only a few for him. He does Arcane Explosion, which does a big amount of damage to anybody near him. So he needs to be tanked also away from everybody else, but also range damage. Nobody should be within the range of his Arcane Explosion, or else they'll die. There's a Rogue too, Varus Dark Shadow. He does Deadly Poison, which he can debuff somebody and they can envenom them as well. So he basically has a debuff on a character and then he'll take it off for massive damage. He also Vanish too, kind of like Morose did in Karazhan. And then there's this dude, Gaithios the Shatterer. As it sounds, he is not fun. He's basically a paladin. He's the tank target. He casts buffs on everybody else in the these other dudes, and he can also cast Consecrate around him, which is a paladin ability that basically does DPS for anybody nearby. He was the main tank target, I believe, but basically you had to kind of separate all these dudes out, interrupt the healer for sure, try to tank everybody else, and do as much damage as you can to everybody to take them all down, kind of at the same time. Because you don't have a choice. They all have to be taken out at the same time. Alright. Anyways, that's the way it should have been done back in the day. Since I'm only one person, I'm going to go ahead and put down my...
Flee or die.
Flee or die! How about neither? How about I kill you? So if I... Oh man, holy mackerel, that was quick. She healed herself back up pretty good though. So if you attack anybody in this, any one of these bosses, if I kill any one of them, they'll all die at the same time. She keeps on casting this heal, which if I really cared, I would try to interrupt to make sure that she has a blessing of protection from that makes her immune to physical attacks, which is pretty good. He can seal himself up. The paladin, man, does a lot of damage.
Enjoy your final moments.
Enjoy your final moments, sir. Anyways, you kind of get the picture. You had to separate these guys out, interrupt the healer to make sure she can't heal everybody else, because even one heal would be, damn, like 25% of their whole health. So you had to keep on kicking her and interrupting her spells, and then also trying to make sure you don't get wiped out by the DPS of all these other people. But since I am well and truly super powerful, I'm going to go ahead and turn on my super kick stun thing. And take them all out. They're all dead now. And here is Akama, who is going to try to help you get to Illidan. Am I ready to face Illidan? I am ready, Akama. Let me follow you. You got tentacles. So this is the door to Illidan, obviously, but I can't get through it. I can't get through it! There's no lock or anything like that, so Akama has to help you out here. And he is going to do so. Luckily, he has ghost friends to help him out. He could not get the door open by himself. This could have benefited from some sound effects, but... So Illidan has five phases. That's a lot of phases for a boss. Not quite as many, I think, as Arthas, but still plenty to go through.
Be wary, friends. The betrayer meditates in the court just beyond.
But he will not be aggroable until I talk to Akama to start this fight. So I'm gonna go ahead and say hi. Hey, Illidan, how you doing, buddy? Is that Gul'dan's skull? It is. So he still has that from Warcraft 3. The big demon skull thing. Cool model. I mean, they did a pretty good job on this back in the day. All the boss models were decent. I guess he's been up-resed and redone for Legion, but still looking cool. Why is Betrayer? Dumb dance. So. Anyways, he doesn't start until you talk to Akama, so I'm going to go ahead and talk to Akama and get him on the road to being fightable. So Illidan has, like I said, 5 phases. He also drops both of the 2 glaives of Azzinoth are the 2 legendaries that he dropped. Very, very rare drops as far as I understand. I don't think they're like 0.1% or anything like that, but they're I've never had them drop, so we'll see what happens. Akama will help you out. This is one of the weird fights that you had to have a warlock tank for one of these phases.
Akama, your duplicity is hard.
You threw away the skull.
I should have slaughtered you and your malformed brethren long ago.
We've come to end your reign, Illidan. My people and all of Outland shall be free.
Boldly said, but I remain unconvinced.
The time has come. The moment is at hand.
You are not prepared.
I am prepared. Okay, now he's going to attack me. So he has, like I said, 5 phases. The first phase, he has a big self-heal ability called Draw Soul. Oh man, I should probably make sure this guy doesn't die. So you have to basically put any kind of healing debuffs on him as you can. There's Moral Strike, Poison, and stuff like that. So he keeps on casting this, and as he will actually regain like 100,000 health at a time. So you have to make sure that he does not do that, and he has a bunch of just a bunch of damage stuff. This phase lasts. There's Draw Soul, so he regained a little bit. This phase will last until 65%, and then he will move on to the next phase, which I'm gonna do right now.
I will not be touched by a rabble such as you. Flames of Acheron.
So here we go. He throws his spikes down, and if any player is more than 25 yards away from both flames, they charge that player and enrage, which basically is a full wipe of the raid. So every member of the raid has to be near either one of these blades or the other one. Obviously, there's a lot of fire damage here, so you need fire resist gear. He's also casting eye beams down. If you see him up there, he's doing a big amount of damage to the raid too. So you basically have to tank both of these guys down while taking as much flame damage as you can. I think I actually attack the blades, but so kind of a split. The entire raid has to split up and take down both of these guys at the same time. Man, this is loud. That's phase 2. Phase 3, he comes back down. It's going to be the same, pretty much the same as phase 1, but he also does a big AoE flame attack on a random player. Man, there's a lot of damage on the ground here, so you have to kind of be aware of everything and also run away from the flames. Stay out of the fire. Some people just can't. Okay, so this is phase 3, basically the same as phase 1. I believe at some point he will, I think it's a timer, really. Oh shit, I don't want to kill him yet. Phase 4, I believe, is on a timer, so I actually can't do enough damage to get him down. I just have to actually wait him out a little bit. Or is it? So here we go. So yeah, phase 4 is when he takes on the demon form. For a demon hunter, he has apparently hunted them pretty well and taken them aside. So this is when you have to have a warlock tank this guy because he does a huge amount of shadow damage. Wow, that was quick. I think I probably did too much damage to him, and he probably skipped that whole phase, unfortunately. But he should have had to be tanked by a warlock if that was actually what happened.
Is this it, mortals?
Okay. I think I did enough damage to basically end the entire thing, unfortunately. No, wait. One more phase. You may remember Maeve from Warcraft 3. She was the jailer, the person who kept Illidan locked up the entire time for 10,000 years or something. She's been hunting him the entire time since he got loose, and now she's here to help you take him down. She will put down traps on the ground, which will double the amount of damage that Illidan will take. Let's see if I can find one. But that will force a shift back to phase 4, which can make some problematic stuff if you have weird positioning. Anyways. Maeve helps you take him down, and I'm going to go ahead and take him out. And he is
finished.
You have won, Maeve. But the Huntress is nothing without the hunt. You are nothing without me.
He is right. I feel nothing. I am nothing.
Oh! You cut me to the quick.
Farewell, champions.
The light will bless these dismal halls once again. I swear it.
Shard of Azeroth, but not a glaive of Azeroth. That is too bad. I don't really care for cloaks that much. Anyways, I beat that guy, and now he's back in Legion. What the heck is down here? I should have just shot him from down here. I guess it's the Council of Illidari. That's Illidan. He, I guess, is supposed to be dead in this expansion, but then he has been imprisoned or something for Legion. Oh, okay. Well, bye. Illidan will return in Legion to do something with the demon people. I didn't get any glaives, but I never do, so that doesn't matter too much. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to call it a day. I think I have Sunwell Plateau remaining in the Burning Crusade. That is another pretty long raid. So I'm going to save that for Tuesday, and I'm probably going to come back and try to do Naxxramas or whatever the first couple raids of Wrath of the Lich King are. So, yeah, thanks for joining me. If you're in the chat, if you're not in the chat, be there on Tuesday. We'll try to get something set up. If I don't do it on Tuesday, I'll do something next week. But hopefully we'll get through all of these before Legion comes out, which is coming up pretty quickly. End of August, I believe. Alright guys, I will see you soon, and this will be archived on my YouTube page. If you're hearing this in the future, you're probably already on my YouTube page, so hopefully you enjoy it, and we'll be back pretty soon. Thanks guys.